I would agree, again, moving in the community in 1993, it has been tremendously steady. And it has been very sad as a resident and as a business owner. And again, if we don't really capitalize on our responsibilities as planning commission and as township board members, and look at the plan and look at what's best for this community as a whole, and plan for it for 10, 20, 30 years down the road, why are we even here now? Because to me, that's what our responsibility is not to look nearsighted, it's to look farsighted down in the future. I mean, we can look nearsighted and say, okay, let's sell the property for 100, 200,000, 250,000. But is that the best interest for this community as a whole? To me, that's why it's been kept within the community for X amount of years, so that that would never happen, that it would be used as a community property entity for future use. And again, I think it was even brought up that the property was donated to the community, to the township, and it had to remain in township entity hands. I think that was one of the things that came up even back when we discussed this last summer. That it came up, I don't remember.
It came up, but
it's not true.
But it is
Not
true
true.
that it has to remain, it was never written into the deeds, but we don't have nothing, we have something, we still have our property there. And selling in the down market would probably be, without being compelled to for any reason, we are financially solvent and healthy. And we're not compelled to sell that property for any reason whatsoever.
So
To do it in a down market would not be the most prudent thing for our taxpayers. Mr. Manager.
I spend most of my day in my day job problem solving, identifying situations that my staff brings to me and figuring out a solution for that. And I always like to understand the range of choices. Before you problem solve, you have to understand where the edges of the table are. Not advocating any of these choices, not presuming to tell the board what choice they should choose. But, you know, the choices range from bulldozing it completely and turning it back into natural grasslands to selling it, renovating it, or selling it to somebody else. With the exception of the bulldozing it completely, a refreshed, nicely styled, appropriately architecturally attractive, I'm not sure the right words to use, parking lot helps you in anything else you decide to do. You want to lease it, that's going to help you. You want to sell it, that's going to help you. You want to renovate it and use it for some other township facility, offices, whatever, that will help you in that process. I think the DDA, and I don't mean to put words in the mouth of the DDA, that they're saying, we're going to pay for that. They want, if, you know, at the end of the day, if there's a commitment that if we do get rid of it, we'll use some of those monies to reimburse. It's sort of like remodeling your bathroom at home before you put your house on the market. If you haven't remodeled in 30 years, people aren't going to buy it. You got to refresh it so that you then can sell your house or rent your house or whatever. It seems like a fairly straightforward conversation.
I make a motion that this board engage in negotiations to work with the DDA to come to an agreement about having them proceed forward with doing the rehabilitation to that parking lot.
I would support that
Okay, we have a motion by Molcerkowicz.
We have not,
support.
our board has not even voted on it.
We have a motion by Molcerkowicz, we have support by Mr. Quinto. Is there discussion?
Yes. As a board, we need to make a decision on what's going to happen with that property before
This is a motion
we get
to
more.
negotiate, sir.
Huh?
It's a motion to negotiate with the DDA. It's
No,
not
we can't,
putting anything else.
let's settle it first, what we're gonna do. We have to vote on that. It's just a backdoor deal to get them involved. This board has to make the decision, and we have not done it, and we've not voted on it.
Okay, that's your opinion next.
That's my opinion.
Next.
We've not voted on it. So it's a limbo. So that's why I would support that.
You know, again, I respect Mr. LaFave's viewpoint. This would only assist in any mode that this board decides to do. It only makes practical, good business sense, and to me, that's what we are responsible to the citizens of the township. So an investment, and again, it's not coming from township dollars, it's coming from DDA dollars. It's not coming from our general fund. It's not coming from any tax base from the residents. It's coming from the commercial district, which I am one of. And it does only enhance our options moving forward. It's a smart business choice. I support this.
With the agreement that the parking lot would have additional restrictions for conditional use by the DDA. Now, that, we can't get them involved in this until we make the decision what we're gonna do.
Is there anybody that hasn't commented that would like to make a comment on it? Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
Motion is carried. We'll start working on this. Okay, the next item on our agenda is going to be brought forward by Mr. Thomas. And I believe we have Mr. Rush here from our Parks and Rec Commission also.
Right.
And he's been one of the people that's been a real motivator behind this next initiative. And he's the guy that's done all the legwork and the research for us.
Okay, I'll be brief, I promise. We've all been here a long time, I don't even know what the weather looks like. We started meeting as the Parks and Recreation Commission about a year ago. Commission has Deb, Randy Rush, Stacy Speck, Chuck Stewart, Jeff Vega, Jim Vibbert, and myself. We owe the board a report anyway, because we were appointed by the board and we haven't come back and talked to you. Basically, what we were appointed to do was to rewrite and supplement the Township's Parks and Recreation Plan. The current plan expires in 2013, and we are completely on track to deliver a rewritten plan in advance of that expiration date. What you told us to do, we're doing. While we were working on that, it occurred to us that we should probably try and move forward with some really small kind of concrete projects that we can maybe get done, or at least nudge in the right direction. Hence, the dog park. Randy's done a lot of work on this, so if there are specific questions that I may look to him to answer, if you all have real specific questions. And if I misspeak, Randy, please jump up and tell me I'm misspoken about something. We submitted a memo to everybody at the table here that specifies kind of the specifics of the project. The highlights include the fact that the WLPS is on board and is amenable to lease us this property for $1 a year. It's approximately 4 acres, which gives us plenty of room to do what we want to do. We want to do a fenced-in dog park, maybe divided so that there are a couple of sub-areas so people can go into one area and stay separate from dogs that are in another area. Is anybody, before I do that, and I'm really trying to speed this up to get us out of here, but is anybody unfamiliar with what a dog park is in concept? Okay, we're just talking about a fenced-in enclosure where dogs can run off-leash, the owners are present, and there's typically a gate, 2 gates. A gate for ingress here and a gate here, so that as you're letting dogs out, or as you're letting your dog into the dog park, other dogs aren't able to get out. So there's a kind of a buffer zone there. There's very little improvement costs, and Deb has been working with identifying a number of potential volunteer sources for money, for time, and for donation of services. Jim Vibbert is one of them. Tim Seville is another one. As far as maintenance goes, we would be proposing a combination of community service organizations and perhaps some negotiation involved with the school. Since the school maintains the great bulk of this property, it probably wouldn't be too much to ask that if they could help us maintain some of the dog park as well. The only item of any significant cost that we've identified going forward that we couldn't handle with volunteers or with private donations is the fact that we're probably going to need a bridge. And in fact, we're definitely going to need a bridge over the county drain to connect the parking lot to the place where people would go let their dogs run. And the bridge is going to have to be engineered fairly largely because we're going to need to be able to move grass cutting equipment over, maintenance equipment, things like that. So Deb identified a grant application that apparently we've got to kind of move forward on fairly quickly. There is a recreation grant through the state that would cover at least a significant portion of the funds necessary to get the engineering done on the bridge and get it built, if not all of it. Our deadline is May 1st for the grant application, which means that we want to be able to come before the Township Board on your meeting of the 16th. What we want to do is have the grant application completely filled out, and we want to have, as part of that grant application, we need to have a site plan, which is primarily what I'm here to ask you for. Basically, what we want to do is go forward with this project. We need a small budgetary outlay of capped at $1,000 for a site plan through Carlisle World, probably pretty sharply discounted rate. We would need the site plan in order to append it to the grant application. So basically, we're going to need to move forward on this relatively quickly if we're going to make this particular deadline. What I'm here to do today is to take questions, get the board's input on whether or not we would have the authority to engage Carlisle Workman to prepare a site plan, and I would request to be on the board's agenda for April the 12th, where we would be able to present our full grant application. So that's basically my presentation. Randy, do you think I missed anything?
I think you covered it well.
Did I do it fast enough? Deb, do you have anything to add?
If there's questions, I'll have things to add to it. These are Google Earth maps. Can you move? Well, that's fine. Yeah, so 2 sheets. So these are from Google Earth. One of the other parks, Randy had already done a reconnaissance of the area and walked this park area. I had only seen it on a map, and there's nothing like never seeing something in real life. This last Sunday, I went with another Parks and Rec Commissioner, Stacy Spread, and we walked this area. And it so happened that people were out walking their dogs on these fields, which is what the school has indicated is happening currently. So people are using it for an area. It doesn't have any kind of those traditional amenities of a dog park. So are there any other questions, like what is a dog park, what does this involve, and so forth and so on? Mr. Dodd?
How much money do you have?
For a dog park?
None. No.
How much does it cost in fencing?
How much did it cost what?
Fencing.
We have no idea what the fencing costs.
And we don't have any idea what the bridge costs.
We have no idea what the bridge costs.
And we don't really know what the Carlisle stuff.
Yes, we do. That's, in order to put together a site plan, excuse me, I'd like to finish answering your question. We know how much they're going to charge. They're going to charge $1,000 for not to exceed that price, to give a site plan review and to also give us a cost estimate. And the cost estimate will be based on the fencing and the bridge, because those are really the only 2 amenities at this time that are necessary.
It doesn't go forward if you don't get the grant.
It doesn't go forward this quickly. If we don't get the grant, then we're looking for alternate sources of funding and we're putting more chips into place. But if we get the grant, then presumably we have enough to.
Are you asking us to vote yes, up or down on this without voting any of these?
I'm asking you to vote yes on a budgetary outlay of $1,000 for a site plan, which is necessary to apply for the grant. And
Gotta spend money to get money.
I think that